Sophie, his 13th birthday. Gift? We've got you. Guitar? Coming tomorrow. Road game today? Surprise party tomorrow. Change of plans. Game tomorrow.
No, birthday tomorrow.
Guitar? Reroute.
Birthdays are on birthdays.
Party? Relocate. UPS My Choice makes rerouting packages easy. How we're helping companies solve for the needs of customers like Sophie.
Well, I mean, obviously we got really set down, brought back down to earth. I don't know what you call it. You just got whipped, and Toledo did a good job of just jumped on us early, and it was catch up from that point forward. And when you take a team like Toledo, that's as good as they are, and now you put them 21 points ahead, and it was 3 series, 21 points first quarter. Everything else is they can get it. They can do some things defensively with a lead, and it's even harder for us. And then offensively, they played. We couldn't slow them down. We couldn't get anything going. So again, we had some chances to make it close. We couldn't do it, and we got whipped. And we have to go from there. We before the season, I mean, we knew before the season going to Western Michigan and going Toledo back to back was going to be a tough deal. But once you win the first one, you like to see if you can get the next one. But again, I think more than that, we didn't play well, and they got after us in every area. The biggest I thought to start was our inability to run and their ability to run and the football, and we have to really assess that on both sides of the ball to get better at that. Because I think even if you're a passing team or like to pass it equally as well as throw the ball, you're getting too many predictable passing situations when you can't run it. You can't throw the ball downfield as often on big tight plays because if you can't come back and pick up 8 yards on a run or 7 yards on a run, every pass becomes a little bit a different choice. So anyway, we've worked on that. We've had some talks about it, and we just got to get better at that. But other than that, we just got to get back up. We've known all along. We've got one game at a time. We've got Buffalo coming up, and we're not talking about the next 4, but it's the first one, and we've got to go out to that. We're 4-4, and we control our own destiny, and we play a very good 2-5 football team. And if you ever question the quality of our league, you look at the 2-5s and the 5-2s. I don't know whether it's Eastern Michigan, the way they've lost their games, or Miami, Ohio, the way they've lost their games, or Buffalo and the way they've lost their games and the competition that they're playing. These are all great football teams, and these are all very good football teams. So we've got a very good football team coming in here to play, and we've got to play our best. And so, anyway, we got out of the last game relatively unharmed, injury-wise. Got out pretty good last week, and hopefully get Cato. I don't know if we'll have Cato Nelson back. He's had a banged-up knee. Robbie Kelly stepped in and did a good job for him. But he was out. Newman Williams has been out for a while, and he's not expected back yet, I think, with his shoulder. But other than that, we came out pretty healthy. This time of year, everybody's banged up, and everybody's got people that are sore, and you got to line up and just go,
Can you take anything from that game other than forget about it and work on the running defense at this point, or chalk that up to having a bad overall?
No, I think you have to say I think you have to really analyze. It wasn't just defense. I mean, offensively, we ran for 41 yards, I think. It wasn't like we did any better than the defense did. I mean, we have to look at what we're doing and what we're trying to accomplish, and and how we got to make it, how to improve it. So I think to some extent, because our defense has held 2 teams without a touchdown, have held another team to 1 touchdown, and so they've had some games of bend but don't break. But I think we looked at both sides of the ball. We've got to do a better job than that. So to some extent, I think you got to say, men, it's one day we got to put it behind us, but we've also got to look and see where we weren't doing a good job and got to correct it.
Was in your mind you were fighting uphill after the 21, but at the end of the first half when Thomas hit, I think it was Smith.
Yeah, Quadarius.
Did you have a better view of it because once you saw your tape? Because
Nobody contested. It was a momentum killer for. I mean, you know, and to honestly say that it was the difference in the game. It was the chance for us to get back in this thing and get the momentum to our side. Even if we make the field goal there, we're down 2 scores basically, and that's not a whole lot in today's game of football. But I mean, once you saw the replay, there was nobody contested it, but when it happened, because it didn't look like he dropped it. But once you saw the replay, the ball bounced off the turf, you know. So it's like it was an angle nobody could see, because they didn't get upset, we didn't get upset. We just thought it was a catch down to the 1, but he was right on top of the ball, and so there was no angle than anybody. But I think, in my opinion, the camera showed a pretty good shot of the tip of the ball hitting the ground, and he got hit pretty good. It would have been an awful good catch for him. But anyway, that being said, that was the point where we needed to make a 40-yard field. That was a very makeable field goal that we missed, and that puts there. Go ahead.
I just wanted to also ask, on the first touchdown, the flea flicker to Booker, has that, did you and AJ dig deep into that?
We've done it before here, and we've scored on it before here, maybe 3 years ago.
And you almost dropped
Yeah.
almost dropped it.
Yeah, I mean, the whole play is, if they blitz, you got some problems on the play. You have to hit it just right, because you're doing some run blocking, and it's got to have the good chance you're going to get a guy open. The question is, you're going to get the ball off, you know. And so that's one of those plays where you're trying to create some momentum, and it was a good momentum play. And like I said, there was some other plays. If we had Frenchon Bickley wide open on a fake pop screen out there, and I mean, it was nobody within 15 yards of him. He would have scored. There were a couple of plays that we need to hit, and when you're going to play a team like Toledo and you're not really able to stop them, we knew it could be a scenario where you had to outscore them, and I'm not sure we've got to play better on defense, better on offense. But if a pure scoring contest, I think they've got a quarterback and receivers and running back that their weapons are a little bit stronger.
Is he the best? I mentioned about Woodside. Since you've been in the MAC, I know you said.
I can't say that even close to say that. I would, you know, again, I love our quarterback, but he's an awful good one. He's an awful good. But how can he not like the quarterback at Western Michigan last year, or the kid that was at Bowling Green that threw the ball so well? I mean, Jordan, the guy at Northern Illinois that took them to the Orange Bowl, that was incredible. But for what he does, he's just very, you know. I don't look at who's going to be a great NFL quarterback. I mean, who takes a college team and puts them in the end zone and does. He reminds me of the quarterback at Penn State. I don't know that quarterback's going to be is an NFL guy. I just know he's the guy. He's got it, and that's what Woodside has.
Does a change in schedule have any kind of effect?
You know, I was asked that after the game, and I just don't feel it's fair to go that way, because we knew enough not to practice our guys. We took a day off. They didn't. They took another day off of practice, so we lost a day of practice. But we coaches had to spend a little more time working early on. But I think we rested our players up enough to have them fresh. And so you can go there. I just don't think it's fair for me to say, well, we just didn't have enough. We were tired and we came out flat because we had one less day. Because, you know, sometimes you got to go with what you got to. There's a lot of times late in the year where you have a tough game and you tell your kids, we're not going to do anything on Monday. You know, we're not going to go out and do something. So whatever we did, if we want to contribute that to some small extent to our inability to prepare well and to be ready to play, you can say that one day less didn't help us, but I don't know that you can say one day less hurt us when we got beat 48 to 21.
Kobe Booker, is he making it difficult for you not to call his number more often?
Yeah, I think he is. I think his biggest problem is when he plays every play. If Newman was here, it'd be so much easier. And Junk helps a little bit because Junk's also a backup. But when he has to play every snap, that he has to be able to block every angle and every type of stunt, every blitz. He's got to block all the run plays. He's got to have a whole vast amount of knowledge of our offense that most freshmen don't have a complete grasp of. If we were just throwing to him only, I mean, that'd be easy because he's got such good hands and skills and things like that. But for 270 pounds, he can, and if he gets the right type of block, he can block better than the rest of them, as big as he is. But there's still a lot for him to do. So I think you got to continue to add him to the game plan. You know, he caught a couple of passes, another touchdown catch. At Barberton, even as big as he is, they would line him up at wideout and throw to him, and even was their fade receiver on the goal line. When you think about throwing the jump ball, that was the guy they used on the wideout around the goal line to throw the fade ball. So we saw those things when he was in high school, but he's got very good hands, athletic ability, and feet, and it's just we have to just bring him along as fast as we can, but we got to be careful that we don't overload him with so many things that he can't that he makes mistakes.
Penetrates their alleged quarterback this week. I mean, it sounds like nobody really knows. He started last week.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys recruit him at all?
Yeah. He had so many. You either going to get one way or the other with a local player. A local player is making a decision. I don't want to go to school right down the street from my mom and dad, and you're out right away. Or there's those say, well, I do. And so I think that was the case with him. He was going to go away to school, but we were on him all the way. And so was other MAC schools. I think that Buffalo, just what they offered for him. He wanted to get away from town. He's a very good player. We were very, very high on him.
What did you like about him?
Just as a quarterback, he just knows how to be a quarterback. He knows how to handle himself. He's smart. He can throw the football. And I just thought he was an outstanding quarterback. And he was a winner. And I think he will be at Buffalo. I hope he's not one tomorrow, Saturday. I hope he's not Saturday. But he is good. He's one of those guys I just think is going to get better every game he plays. He's going to get better. Usually young kids get better faster because they can improve so much from just the speed of the game. But he was a good player in high school, and he'll be a good player for them.
Is it safe to assume you'll be looking for ways to rattle him because he's that inexperienced?
Anytime you play a freshman, you want to give them a few things they don't recognize. You want to give them some different looks. You want to see if you can put pressure on them. All those things, and they'll just like I'm sure they'll want to watching us give up all that running yardage last week. They'll want to run that ball so every play is not on his shoulders. When you hand the ball off, that's one less play the quarterback has to think. He just has to hand off. If you're out there throwing it too much, he's got to read, change the play, adjust, and everything else. And so we sure need to do a good job. We need to mix things up for him, to make him do as much thinking as he can.
You always like to look at the defense of the opposition. You
Yeah.
ever thought about Hodge? Does he have that Khalil Mack?
Gosh, he's I'm sure he gets compared to. That's not fair. It's like we compare Gilbert to Jatavis Brown all the time. They're kind of different players. He's really good. And it looks like he's trimmed up a little bit from last year. He was thicker last year. He is a really, really good football player. And you're comparing him to the number one guy taken. Wasn't he the first round guy taken? Wasn't the number one guy. He was really good. And but he is as good as there is in this league. We've got two good linebackers out there playing, and number 4 is a very, very good one that you got to just try to get some hats on. Got to get a hat on him every now and then.
Did Toledo do anything differently as far as the run game, and were they determined to stop it? Did they bring extra people to the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, people are. I think they're going to test us to see if we can throw and catch the ball better. We're getting the more we, it's say what's the old saying? What's the best way to run it? Run it more. Sometimes you got to throw it better. We dropped. I don't know if you remember the game. We dropped the opening pass.
Right.
The first one. We dropped a wide open pass on that play, and we threw an interception. On the next play that was right in our hands, a little bit high, but it tipped it right to the defender. He intercepts it. That's a quick touchdown, or maybe that's the third one. I don't know. Then the next play, I can't remember which one. We missed another one. But we've got to. I think right now we just got to make sure we're mixing our offense up and we're able to run and throw, and we're looking to make the more we can throw in with our running, the better it's going to be. But it's just a matter of and then challenging our players. We just have to do a better job.
At this point in the season, you start hearing the ball murmurings. I mean, what are you telling your team in that respect?
Well, I'm shell shocked still. I mean, we went through such a rough situation last year. Again, I don't even like to even think about it myself because we lost a quarterback. And you look at our league this year; everybody's losing their quarterbacks. It's costing them. Now they get one guy a little more reps, they catch back up. But it's been a very tough situation. I think Miami lost their quarterback and had to go to a quarterback. Buffalo's had to go through quarterback problems, and these are really good football teams. And we went through it last year. And so we know that you can't think past one game Buffalo's a critical game, and we are focused on that game, and that's the next one. And like I say, if you're going to fight for the Eastern Division championship, every game's going to matter right now because we've got one loss. Ohio's got one loss. Everybody else has got 2 losses, and I don't think anybody with 2 losses is not out of it. I don't think at this point. So we've got to. So again, we're going to think one game, and that if we can get one game and go from there, and because you start adding them up, man, you get yourself in a whole lot of trouble.
Speaking of quarterbacks, Robbie, now again, that would have been against softer coverage or in the game maybe or something. But you always have to look forward, especially when you have a senior quarterback.
Yeah, right.
You look to the future, it looks like that situation will be.
Well, it's kind of like we'd hoped. Robbie was looking to he graduated early, had 2 years of eligibility, got kind of passed over out of high school, and he went to a local university that was fairly close to where he was from. And then his quarterback coach played quarterback for Chuck at the NC State, so we knew a lot about him. And I felt like, boy, we didn't know that Woodson would even be able to come back and play. And Cato and Nick John, we brought Nick Johns in, and so at the end of spring, we felt both of them may be ready, maybe not. They're look close, but you don't know. So we said, we said let's bring him in as well. And he realized that he couldn't really step without spring ball. There's not many places he could step into and just be guaranteed a place to play because he didn't have any spring ball either. So it worked out well. So I think Robbie is a fine quarterback, and I think we felt like going into the season we were able to move Nick Johns to tight end or H a little bit. Although he went back to quarterback when Cato got hurt. He's been playing special teams. He wants to just play.
Right.
He's 228, and so he wants to play somewhere. So Robbie's a good quarterback, and we don't know yet for sure whether Cato will play this week or not. And so we're going to wait probably till Thursday to make that decision. But Robbie, like I say, I think that'll give us and we have a freshman, Alex Ramert, and we really like him too. He really like him. Yeah. Ramart. Yeah. Ramart. Ramart. Yeah, because it's we have so many people we have so many players that their names have changed. Do you remember D. Friesen? We found it's Friesen. He didn't tell us till his senior year he wanted it was D. Friesen. Didn't tell us till his senior year. Then we've got Levon Gothney, who it's Gothney. Yeah, and I never knew that till like his 3rd year. He never told us that's the way he liked to pronounce it till his 3rd year there. But Ramart, Alex is going to be a good young quarterback that we're really pleased with.
Do you recall the coach that was at NC State?
Yeah, it was Davis. The quarterback was Davis. Is the one that followed Phillip Rivers.
Okay.
And his dad was Todd's coach in high school.
Oh, wow.
So he became the quarterback that followed Phillip Rivers. That he ended up being a quarterback coach at that school. In April, the head coach resigned and went to be a quality control coach at Temple. So now all the coaches, the players, now you got now a lot of. He decided he'd just transfer and try to find a place. He wanted to see if he could play Division I. And and then when the coach Davis, his coach said that he's pretty good. He thought he was better than I was when I was in college. He was good enough to start NC State. That was a pretty good recommendation. Yeah. But we're pleased with Robbie. Robbie's worked hard, and he will battle Cato Nelson, throughout.
Coach, got a question.
Go ahead, to either one.
Questions. You've kicked off about every imaginable time there is this year. Is 11:30 kickoff?
Maybe the earliest ever.
Does it help you, hurt you, or is it no big deal?
We practice in the morning every day. I can't imagine us not feeling very comfortable going out early. If they wanted to go out at 8 o'clock, it'd be really what we're used to doing every day. If they went out at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's unusual. I remember when I first went to Auburn, it was Central Time, and I hadn't been on Central Time at all. And all of a sudden, you're playing those noon. You get those noon SEC games back then, Raycom or whoever it was, and they were noon games. But they're like it's like mentally it's 11 o'clock. For anybody that's ever lived right across the Central Time Zone, you try to live in the Eastern Time Zone world while you're in Central, because then you get to go to bed earlier and get up earlier, and everything's kind of odd when you do that. But this 11:30 is an unusual time, and I still don't know why we're doing 11:30.
TV?
I know, but what is? The window is always 12 to 3:30, 3:30 to 7. Gives you a three and a half hour window. Unless you can catch some audience 30 minutes before everybody else. I don't know.
Just roll with it, Terry.
What? I said we're going to be there. We're going to show up.
You have the 3 Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
Toledo's got 5.
Yeah, Toledo.
They're playing 5 weeks.
Well, once you make this changeover once you get that week and change over, it's still a 7-day week, you know. It's real. I mean, it can be real cold and uncomfortable on a 8 o'clock at night in November, late October, November in Ohio, Michigan. It just gets, you know, but like I say, it's the same for both teams, but it's cold for the fans. It's cold for everybody.
How much do you, I know there were a ton of injuries
Right.
last year and leading into last year.
Right.
But do the guys who were here remember that game at all?
The Buffalo, it was a tough one. It was Well, the problem again was our quarterbacks. Again, we really didn't know what to do. Because if you remember, and again, I don't want to belabor injuries. We've lost 2 of our 3 captains for the year this year. We just got to line up and play who's there. Sometimes, as we just said about our roster, our conference this year, quarterbacks are different. That's a different position because, like I say, that's usually there's a star that stands out above everybody else and gets a lot of reps that he takes. But I just know that was a very frustrating point in time for our team because we had nowhere to go with our team. And if you remember, we didn't know exactly what was wrong with Tom. We were trying to use him. He was trying to go, and that was especially. And then against Ball State, it was a real hot day, and his arm loosened up. Against Buffalo, it was really cold, and that thing tightened up, and he couldn't even move it. So we didn't know that till the first series, and we weren't ready to go much better. And then after that season's over, when they corrected all that by surgery. But anyway, that's like I say, that we got to go out and play. You know, Bowling Green was one of them too. Now we played Bowling Green earlier. That was one of those last year where we played Terrell Goodman at wide receiver. We played Terrell Goodman, and that was a tough one too. So like I said, that's behind us now. We've got to play our best football right now, and go forward.
Coach, with all the young depth you've got at quarterback, do you still go out and recruit one and bring one in next year?
We try to bring one every year. I think the more after last year's, and it's one of those where you wish you wouldn't learn lessons in your 24th year as a head coach, but I learned you can't have enough quarterbacks. And I think the reality is that, like, you can't have 5 deep at every position, but if you have to sign one every single year at quarterback, and if a young one starts, then the older ones are going to transfer. They're just going to leave. That's what happens everywhere in the country. A younger guy beats out the older ones transfer and play somewhere. And no longer do you sit and just get your degree. And you see it, everybody in the world's got a quarterback that started somewhere else, and they've transferred into there, you know, and it's almost like it's what everybody does. So I think we'll create competition and because, like I say, it's the most important position at any level of football. The quarterback position touches the ball 50% of the time, and will be the guy it'll be the guy that's the difference in the Super Bowl and the difference in junior high school. And so you've got to continue to find somebody that's better.